Some breaking news this morning. The Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee has voted to hold Dr. Anthony Fauci in contempt of Congress. This comes a week after Dr. Fauci pled the Fifth more than 100 times and declined to answer any questions during his testimony about the country's COVID response. The Republican-controlled committee passed the resolution along party lines. It will now go to either the full Senate for a vote or possibly be referred to federal prosecutors. Let's listen to some of these proceedings that happened just moments ago.
Contempt of Congress. The clerk will call the roll.
Senator Johnson.
Yes.
Senator Langford.
Aye.
Senator Scott.
Yes.
Senator Hawley.
Aye.
Senator Moreno.
On behalf of the millions of people harmed by Anthony Fauci, resoundingly yes.
Senator Ernst. Aye. Senator Moody. Senator Peters.
No.
Senator Hassan.
No.
Senator Blumenthal.
No.
Senator Fetterman.
No.
Senator Kim.
No.
Senator Gallego.
No by proxy.
Senator Slotkin.
No by proxy.
Senator Paul.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, on the vote of those present, the yeas are 8, the nays are 5. On the vote by proxy, and for the record only, the yeas are 0, the nays are 2. On this vote, the yeas are 8, the nays are 5, and the motion is agreed to.
Mr. Chairman, pursuant to committee
recognized you.
Mr. Chairman.
So there you have it. That was right there, a straight party line vote. The committee voting to hold Dr. Fauci in contempt of Congress. We have NBC News senior national political reporter Sahil Kapoor joining us with more. Sahil, good morning. So maybe not really a surprise what just happened in that room, but let's talk about what happens next. I mentioned a moment ago it would either go to the full Senate for a vote or possibly be referred to federal prosecutors. Why wouldn't this have to go to a vote by the full Senate like similar contempt of Congress votes?
Hey, Savannah. Well, certainly not a surprise after the fireworks we saw at the hearing last week. We saw Republicans shouting at Fauci. We saw them drop curse words. We saw them accusing him of ruining the country and ruining lives with his public health recommendations during COVID. The question here is, can this resolution, because Republicans just voted along party lines in the committee that they control, to hold Anthony Fauci in contempt of Congress for obstructing an official congressional investigation. They voted him out in committee, that resolution out in committee. Rand Paul, the chairman of this panel, seems to think this can go directly to the Justice Department as a referral. It's entirely the decision of the Justice Department to prosecute or not to prosecute. Congress doesn't have that power. The question is, does it have to go to the full Senate? And Rand Paul's view is it doesn't, but past judicial and congressional practice suggests that it would have more legal weight if this resolution went to the full Senate. That's according to the Congressional Research Service in a document that our colleague Frank Thorpe just pulled up. So maybe it doesn't have to, by statute, go to the full Senate, but when the Justice Department looks at this and evaluates whether to prosecute, it would have more legal weight if the full Senate were to pass this and send it over to the DOJ. The one wrinkle with that, Savannah, is that if Republicans send this to the full Senate floor, it would be subject to a 60-vote threshold, which means Democrats could block it. That gives you probably the clue that you need in terms of why Republicans don't want to vote in the full chamber.
Sahil, many people, including President Trump, for that matter, have invoked the Fifth Amendment during congressional testimony. Why are Republicans arguing Fauci's ineligible for Fifth Amendment protection here?
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Savannah, and that's precisely the argument that Democrats, including the ranking member of this committee, Gary Peters, the senator from Michigan, is making. He said it would create a damaging precedent if Congress were to prosecute people for invoking their Fifth Amendment right. It would discourage people from even showing up for fear that they could essentially harm themselves legally by appearing in front of Congress. We have some recent modern precedent of people being held in contempt for obstructing an investigation. You'll recall back in the January 6th committee, the House was investigating. Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro eventually got cited for contempt. They served some jail time, both of them several months in jail. The difference there was two things. Both of them refused to even show up for that, for that investigation. They wouldn't even testify in front of Congress. And in both cases, the entire House of Representatives voted for the resolution to hold them in contempt. So two big differences here between those situations where Fauci and Peter Navarro were held in contempt and prosecuted by the Justice Department, and this situation with Anthony Fauci, where Republicans want to follow suit.
Sahil, do we know what an investigation by the Department of Justice would look like here, what the possible outcomes are there?
Difficult to know, Savannah. That's, again, it's up to the DOJ to look at the statute, but contempt of Congress typically comes with a fine and jail time of somewhere between a month and a year. There's a lot of gray area between there, and it'll be up to prosecutors, and certainly Anthony Fauci's legal team is going to fight this with everything they've got.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.